In a previous lesson, I demonstrated my preferred fretboard memorization method to memorize all the notes on a guitar fretboard. However, in this lesson, I would like to recap this method for anyone who has not yet seen the first lesson, and also take this one step further by introducing an interactive game you can play along with in order to put this into practice. You only need a basic grasp of how this works to take part in the play along towards the end of the video, so let's begin by explaining the method. So in order to learn any fretboard memorization technique to quickly identify and play notes anywhere on the guitar fretboard, you first need to have an understanding of how the notes are laid out on a single string. So for this, let's use our low E string as an example. If we play this string open, we end up with an E note. Now let's move to fret 1 of the same string. What would this note be? Well, as the musical alphabet only goes up to G, so A, B, C, D, E, F, G, we can easily see that the next note up from an E would be an F note. So nice and easy. E moves up to F. So you would expect the next fret up to be a G then, right? Wrong. In the musical alphabet, we have sharps and flats. For example, between an A note and a B note, we would have an A sharp because we have moved one semitone or fret higher than an A. And we could also call this note B flat because it's one semitone or fret lower than B. This is what's known as an enharmonic equivalent. These occur between every note apart from between E and F and B and C. So E would jump straight to F and B would jump straight to C. Now back to our E string. So we have an open E, an F on the first fret, and as the next note is one semitone or fret higher than F, we could call this F sharp. And as it's one semitone or fret lower than the next note in the alphabet, in this case G, we could also name this G flat. So now let's quickly work our way through the rest of the notes on this E string, now that we understand the general rules. Our G on the 3rd fret would move to a G sharp on the 4th fret. We could also call this G sharp an A flat, as the musical alphabet, as previously discussed, only goes as far as G before looping back to A again. This therefore helps us to identify the next note, so A and the note that we're currently on, A flat. A jumps straight to A sharp, or you could call this B flat, which leads us to our B note. B jumps straight to our C, because if you remember, we place sharps and flats between every note, apart from between E and F, and B and C. We would then have a C sharp, or you could call this D flat, which moves to our D, followed by D sharp, which you could also call E flat, before finally arriving back where we started on an E note. So we've gone full circle from E to E. This distance is what's known as an octave. Understanding this basic first step is essential for learning the notes on the fretboard. However, by no means is it the end of the story. If you were to use what you've learned so far to identify any note on any string, you certainly could. However, it won't be very fast. For example, if you were to name the note on the 6th fret of the A string, you would have to first climb up through all the notes that came before it. So, open A, A sharp or B flat, B, C, C sharp or D flat, D, and finally we could name this either D sharp or E flat. So once again, this method works, but it's very slow. My previous video at this step detailed memorizing the notes that fall exactly where the fret markers are positioned on the neck of the guitar. Once memorized, these can act as anchors or checkpoints. So for example, the notes of the low E string where the fret markers occur, typically frets 3, 5, 7 and 9, would be G, A, B and C sharp, or you could call this D flat. Or just simply Gab, C sharp, or D flat. So now, if you were to identify the note on the 6th fret of this string, you could jump straight to the checkpoint on the 5th fret, so A, and go up one fret, or semitone, to reveal an A sharp, or you could call this a B flat note. So using this method, you only really need to memorize 4 notes at the checkpoints on each string for almost instant note identification across the entire fretboard. This works incredibly well and is enough to become part of an everyday guitar playing habit for most guitar players. However, rather than just giving you this information to just simply get on with, let's try learning and applying this now through an interactive fretboard memorization game. The rules of the game are simple. You will have a countdown of 4 beats to identify the note shown on screen, after which you will play the note for 4 beats. And as the game progresses, so will the tempo or speed. There will be 5 levels, 1 for each string, and I'm obviously not counting the high E string because if you can identify the notes on the low E string, then the notes on the high E string are identical. I will also show you the checkpoint notes where the fret markers are positioned on screen as a guide for the first few notes. However, these will slowly fade over the course of each level, leaving it up to you and your memory of these to locate each note. Let me know which level you made it to in the comments section below, and if you haven't already, click that like and subscribe button. So let's begin.